kese bia eba franka ensiso abusia ene input prukasi ya mensa aka na sente ya mete ewo social media ne so ene say Dr. Matthew Opoku Prempeh ene ranimate ayapa no de ama NPP amanyoko no 7 December general election about to aye kwakoto no wa resign in sama to so ewo social media so na say input prukasi ya mensa aka edi ahini ewo social media ne so fresh gossip GH medical can say news update chegu ewo abefo ntenta afilikesi so na ka chire matana si no video suko ewo mu emanti ase bi eba se na be awaje bre ehwe mi ana se wuntie mi wa afilikesi so no so be hu de ekoso ewo social ni media ne so abuso se ndi kan ehya ase no enentia yete eni se ne nukopie mu ewo Dr. Matthew Opoku Prempeh na kachi a krata ten ene no ababontia indicate se Dr. Matthew Opoku Prempeh finally and as officially ye the krata aba se ositin 20 ontimi enye running mate and as ontimi 20 adwuma so as running mate emfama Dr. Alhaji Mahmoud Bawumia 7 December general election abatwa ye kwa akoto buso be say nanwa da be 2 weeks nya ye Paul Dr. Matthew Opoku Prempeh wa Ashanti region has no ane no obe running mate ediama NPP amanyoko no wa wonim incident bebe na hodo na ekoso ewo ceremony no as wo bra Dr. Matthew Opoku Prempeh be simply so now making some comparison Dr. Kwame Nkrumah kra etoto munyamfo His Excellency Nana Dankwa Akufo-Addo was sebio development ahodo awaye Emma papa JJ Rollins asebe wonya ni baby call ni di ba mu ye papa JA Kofo former president Kransu edi eba mu anso wa Ghana for mu ni mu twe papa Israel ni abasa enkofo twe press statement tenten call say omra bonten na ombe make apology kese emfa ma Ghana ntitu ene abusua Dr. Kwame Nkrumah osaje for Dr. Kwame Nkrumah Efrim abusia ode ose yoyo ye hu e krata wode ba bonten ebe retracting statement ede apology chenchirenche eba ye ede magara fo nyina nene ye nka bi hyemu enenti ayete anase putupuru kase ye nam social media no so edei ananso ama eye odumanyamfo Kwame Sefa kan afre spokesperson ede ma Dr. Matthew Opoku Prempeh napo amono so di nchiremu eba no ni na no bepe so beka mo ne ede yaso akwakotie wo chinkura se enoda ana krata no kopie mu ewo the office of the presidency enti ene ye kotie se aso resignation wa resign as running mate and I say other position bia na dan kwaku for the man na wa resign na watima concentrative ewo ne running mate ambition na ni nyina no ye se obi nsi trododo matwa ana bo mo chiche efri so ase ebeka cho se sebio den chemawu a empempi ni yeni na chini spokesperson oben Dr. Matthew Opoku Prempeh de ene yemon bromu ewo kachene reactions ene nsim we de aba bitu ja after say lete we etwegu ewa befo ntete dikesi so
na moade na aso no moade no mo bibi no so no yes say let it be called say Napo has resigned as running mate
da ben no so man
has a date to one
because then ready
July 15 and then 16 January Fifi Wafo
Kwame
Martin
Major Chairman
na one resignation no
any resignation me fake news na circulating
e pa cho ma ne so kakra o say
me say fake news na circulating for that resignation me wey
one fake news one resignation
that's why
Mikura mean some crata be resignation as running mate. I say Dr. Matthew Opoku Prempeh na actually say wejai.
No. In fact, I'm not Joe and now on social media no we also let people know on social media say again okay the biasa is here. In fact, everyone dana as by Dr. Matthew Opoku Prempeh echo Eastern region Okokushia kono of Manya Krobo. Every could think it only in our college my reaction as running days of the LPP. Lufu or call Yellow Krobo, Kushia party, and full bit more our Baby Green and another Menoka say all parliaments are share the majority caucus of the LPP. Of course, with social media, there is a lot of YouTube across all the Akas and one day. We are there, part to the and credit. Pia says na I did my doctor about Miami so on as running mate. The man the new patriotic party presidential application. Who's always the Juman Pepper.
Oh, ain't you on Resign?
Oh, there be that. Come in, you need to be when I resign. Say, and William Shah talked about Miami and PPDR Ashelo. But these guys are in William Shah and Jackson.
You, and you interest way. Say, on Resign near there. But and then I'm saying, yes, or the Jumana to.
So, you need to Dr. Frente I say, a Coca Chairman Penny, say, a Juma or the man as energy minister. He's saying, a so far, a dear man, into your person or dinner dad during a war day. Didn't mean 19 so now or board of Tabawiaman and this a ben. Rather, the Juma as education minister, the Juma as energy minister. And on the other, the empty body, the Juma to as energy minister. So, if I said, like I say, God could have been objective. But unfortunately, said now, social media, no, the man will not be seeing it because also. But a young create the Miranda, and indeed, as soon as any acquaintance from Kwao to best level as the running meeting, Sab is man prepared and all the things.
Okay. 50 minutes, and I pay. Now, Ukra siren there. Yeah, that's it. I pay Fifi Boafo, spokesperson for Dr. Matthew Poku-Prempeh, 24 minutes at the top of the hour. Peace 104.3. I think now can be about policy. Me and one if me call back to me sirens.
Yes, let me say, look, policy be our objective. We share free SHS policy as brought by Nanadi. The idea is to increase accessibility to secondary education. Mahama policy, so the objective was to increase accessibility to secondary education.
Okay.
What varies, any the degree and intensity of your kind of saying what you do no to cover and to ensure accessibility no. If you want to say Nkrumah did his bit, but it was not entirely free secondary education in the north. It was subvention. Secondary education was heavily subvented. In fact, when he was presenting the 7-year development plan, what he said in that speech, he said, by the time you can say SAR policy, would have been fully, the plan would have been fully implemented. By 1972, and these were his words, Ghana would have, begun enjoying free secondary education. Until as far back as the 60s, Nkrumah envisioned say Ghana Colombia and here say Obenya secondary education. But what shall see from a point? I can say, look, Northerners, because of the educational gap, 101 years now between the south and the north.
At least it's been breached.
We are getting there.
Yeah.
And some of these policies are actually very instrumental in that process. Until now, you were doing it piecemeal. Access to secondary education, no. Now you're piecemeal. Mahama Baye, no, even Kufuor did his bit. Even Metro Mass and Kola Frudico School, they are all part of enhancing access to secondary education.
But about free SHS,
by free SHS, universal free secondary education, whereby you don't pay for cost of secondary education.
End of story. Let me move on. Let me move on. And then Unipa Osei Kofi Akwa, former National Youth Organizer CPP, says, Chairman General, are you talking earlier about the sirens? They also want unlimited speed, irrespective of where or when. Greetings to your panel, especially Atik, my comrade, in whom I am delighted. Now let's move on to the issue, particularly this one. Metese Uriah friend Andy Apia Kubi Edibetu justifying into Muhia. Now many opinion back and Anakumia down for pie friend Ato Williams. Ato says the day after we wake up to various discussions on our radios and televisions and social media, Ghana is very noisy. In the sense as some of the issues that grab our attention seem very mundane. And he goes on and on. It says the discussion is not on traffic as a hindrance to productivity and a solution to resolve it. Rather, it is about how the select few can get from point A to point B without hindrance by using sirens and flashing lights. How about we mere mortals? He goes on and on and on and on. I'll urge our legislature to show more empathy and have a pulse on our country's sentiments. Power and comfort have a way of warping reality, insulating you from the realities, and goes on and on. I pray that this law will be shelved with alacrity for the good of us all. At Williams, and a day and no a two-jar.
Chairman, should be shelved. The election said there's a possibility of reintroducing it someday.
They be shelved it with alacrity. Just
it should be discarded forever.
Anyway, Atik,
Chairman,
what do you make of it? Maybe I know so.
Me that's it. This is yet another reflection of how increasingly, Chairman, your opinion we are losing sight of your foremost responsibility is to serve your constituents and by extension Ghana for and service. Yet you are saying, look, when you are made a leader, you are made a servant. Oh, they be we will serve the country, we will serve our nation. Service, no, yet you are saying. Now you want to live like the sultans of Brunei in this country. You want to live like Sabi. Mu class unku any ya kano. Your class unku. And that is not how this should be. Because say start using sirens, which means that you have no respect for there's no respect, but there's no regard for other road users. Mubana there is traffic, so biama kwan yeso siren dia. We are so conchain na siren rano abesinako. And that is not how you serve, your people. Look elsewhere, ministers, any MPs, omudi traffic regulations su kama obia traffic chiwa na cho. Opeso ko be bintema so intem, just like everybody else does.
But amendments no they are right now at the parliament.
I know.
Now almost say head of state, president, vice president, speaker of parliament, chief justice, ministers of state, justices of the Supreme Court, and members of parliament. And then I must say, can
you imagine the chaos?
276 MPs.
Add the ministers.
Plus ministers who are not MPs.
Deputies can
plus Supreme Court judges.
Minister. Deputy ministers who can be. Chairman, we are running into thousands of people like killing us with noise in this country, causing chaos on our roads. Because ministers, deputy ministers, MPs, Supreme Court judges, the other 4 gentlemen, Chairman, you can imagine the chaos. And to what end? At the end, but what has happened that would occasion our amendment. At the end, they see because of Nesi Yanenti, here say Sadi. Me won Yesi all of a sudden. Yes, MPs and you see sirens or Montra traffic light. Chairman, what kind of chaotic country are we trying to build? Say a sort red crana or no bit me up. Imagine say Sabi Obi ba Obi diaso green. Ooh, MP na Oban would and also red. But you see who finds a bit me up red.
According to Andy Apia Kubi or say it will enhance productivity, ensure timely arrival of parliamentary meetings. Considering the heavy traffic, or say some MPs, ministers of state, and judges have been arrested for trying to meet their schedules. Or say the exemption would only be necessary during congested periods. I think reasons living here.
Chairman, because MP and now minister Abo Keles Bokwanso Chinenti. Since they want to legalize Keles Bono. That's precisely what this is about. Say yen legalize or Keles Bono. Chairman, if you have a parliamentary meeting, you are required to be there at some point in time. Chairman, what stops you from waking up early? And because MPs, you see, the fact that the MPs and ministers were arrested, nobody is above the law. Chairman, this is what we call constitutional chaos. You want to legalize this chaos. Say, because we are MPT, or not dear, if I say, obebu traffic regulations, so because omu ye ena omu you can say mrano omu DNT. We want to now legalize the kind of misbehavior they were exhibiting on the roads. Me dream one in here.
Abusuafo nsɛm we bi anene no ɛyɛ Dr. Mate-Napo prempe efi na kache ba den eja etiato enya asɛm ketwa ɛno bi ane yate de ba drope ɛwɔ social media no so afa nsɛm bi ne no edi ehini ɛwɔ Dr. Mate-Napo prempe na kache no so na kachi adwakromo me fanam de aba so ɛwɔ afidikesi so adabo proofing sheet ano so masɛm am de nsɛmpa we ebe so mu anam de nsɛm nyina bi si makra